Hey Race Fam, Brian Davis races and you can too. Today's episode is more of an auditory experience, so if you are just looking to chill out, do some work, not have to pay attention to visuals, slap some headphones on, listen to my interview with Patrick. Patrick grew up in Germany, raced bikes in Germany, and came to the United States a few years ago. So we talk about that transition, what it's like to race in Germany versus what it's like to race in the United States. And then we also talk about a cycling invention that Patrick came up with and I purchased from him, and it is called the Padbone, and it holds your laptop or other electronic devices close to your bike when you're on your trainer. It's perfect if you're a traveling cyclist, and even if you're not, it's great to be able to set a laptop up, have it held very securely, be able to answer emails or do whatever you need to do. I did make one slight modification to the Padbone, as you'll see it on the website. I added some non-stick tape to the back so I can keep smaller items stuck in place as well, and that's worked really well. I will put a link to the tape that I used because it's a little bit strange. It's actually mini suction cups. Really cool stuff. In any event, sit back, relax, and enjoy my interview with Patrick, and I will have a race video that I'm working on coming up very soon. Oh, sorry, it's not a race. It was just a ride. Yeah, just a ride. We'll see how that goes. All right, thanks for checking out the channel. Here is my interview with Patrick. Thank you. Hey, Brian Davis races and you can too. Today we have a special guest on the show, Patrick Jungenblut.
Hey.
From Germany. I'm excited to have Patrick here. Patrick arrived in my life a couple years ago. The first time we met, I'm sure you don't remember, we met briefly at Toad 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was. And Toad is Tour of America's Dairyland, which is one of the best crit series in the entire country. So I met Patrick there because one of my teammates had been racing with you in the 2-3s,
exactly.
Andy Webb, and was excited to introduce me to you, and I was just like, that is so cool. What is this guy doing from Germany racing in the United States? That's just wild. So there's a lot more to the story, but the gist of it is, somewhere in there you fell in love.
I came to America. I wasn't even racing anymore for a couple months. And the first year in America, everyone talked about Toad. What is Toad? Tour of America's Dairyland. I figured out I need to do it. First year I went on 3 races and just got back in there. A lot of spokesmen cheered on for me. Guys I met just months before, and they were like coming out to the last race, and everyone was in every corner and yelled my name to finish the last race of the series. So I was very thankful for that, and to give something back to them, I said, I'm coming back, I want to win the overall. And I came back, I tried my best, and I also got to know what it means to race 10 days straight and compete to some of the best racers in the US.
Yeah, awesome. So your path here from Germany, so you grew up in Germany, and then you met your wife.
I came over to work in America.
Okay.
And doing that, I met my wife.
Yeah. And she lives in this area where I live, right?
Exactly.
So we ended up on a ride late last year, and that was the first time I ever got a chance to just go training with you, which is great. But during that ride, I got to learn a little bit more about Patrick and some things that he has been working on. And one of the things that Patrick has been working on is an invention. And I'm sure if you're watching this channel, you know that I've invented some stuff. So Patrick and I had a great conversation on that ride about the process of inventing and creating products and the challenges that it represents and things like that. But I invented a cycling related product. Patrick has invented a cycling related product, and I am excited to try it. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Is I asked Patrick if I could buy one of his units, which I did, and the product is called Padbone.
Padbone, right? Yeah. The initially idea of like a bone which leads to hold the pad or like laptop, iPad, whatever. And right now, after a couple of years, there are different models, and the tablet which you just bought is the biggest one and allows you to have a full laptop, 15-inch, right in front of you, so you don't need any big room, any big setup to just train on your trainer, right. Which makes it very helpful when you are like a German who needs to travel back to Germany, comes back to the US and doesn't want to buy twice of his gear to like just do his training.
Yeah, and that's I don't have to travel very much, but that was the thing when we were trying to set up coordinating getting together, that was one of the things, like, it would be so nice if I could pack, because we were going to go do a Zwift ride at the bike shop, and then I was like, well, if I go out there and do that, I got to take all this crap with me to get all set up and running. So that got my wheels spinning, right? And then I started thinking, like, well, what happened to me last year was I went down this path of Zwift and training, and I had good numbers coming out of winter, but then I just sort of let it all implode, and I was like, well, I'll just ride whenever I can, and you know, it rains, it's windy, it's cold, it's nasty. These are days I don't want to ride. Like, tonight is actually a great example of that. So I have this basement bike, but last year I didn't touch it. And that's something that I really want to focus on changing this year. So I have a stated goal that I'm going to try to do. I wouldn't say I'm going to necessarily do one a week, but at least it'll end up being 4 or 5 a month. If the weather's bad, if my time is crunched, I still want to get a really highly focused workout. And that's what I'm looking forward to the Padbone, because I can get rid of some of this garbage in my life, like this music stand and all the stuff that's on here. So what the Padbone does, just to explain it, is it's a shelf that attaches to your bike.
Exactly.
And then you can just put all your stuff on there and you're all set, right?
Yeah, yeah. And some days I have my laptop on there, especially if I know it's a longer ride. It's a ride where I might reply to emails and work on my Excel sheets. Want to switch between YouTube to watch videos, or like listen to music, or whatever I need to do on the computer, I'm able to do it. Other days where I just want to have it, my magazine, my iPhone, or any remote anything, I can just leave it on there and don't need to like have another table next to me, which is great. When you have it attached to your bike, you're also in the same motion than your laptop or like whatever it's on there, so you're not trying to reach something which is like not in the same room.
Yeah, and the part that I'm looking forward to is just that it's, like you were saying, it's attached to your bike, so you don't have to, what happens to me is when I reach for stuff over here, then this is just not stable enough. Yeah. So especially if I put a laptop on there, then it's, you know, I'm very, very cautious of reaching over here to mess with this thing. So so anyway, Patrick is going to help me set this thing up, and we'll put that in the speed lap so you can see the installation and all that stuff, and I'll have links to the product, of course. But what I wanted to talk, while I had Patrick here, I thought I'd pump him for some information. What I was hoping to learn a little bit was like your story of racing in Germany, and now your story of racing in the United States. So what is the difference just in like mindset or attitude or feel? Like, how does a German race unfold and how does a US race unfold?
It is completely different. Probably because here in America, Germans are just welcomed. That's at least how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But in Germany, I felt that the athletes are just going home right after the race. So let's say you're finishing good, you're thinking, oh man, I was better than my competitor, which he beats me pretty much every time, but today I was better. And you just go to your car, get changed, go back home. But here in America, he would come out to you, say like, you did great today, you really beat me because you were the better rider today. And that's when I'm thinking like, here in America you have so much more fun, because it's not always about like being the best. It might be, still is, but you also honor that someone else can be better that day.
Wow, that's really cool. So when we were talking before we jumped on camera, the you know, a comment I made is it always seems like the grass is greener. So I know my interpretation of racing in Europe is highly romanticized, of just thinking like, oh, it must be amazing. And then I see some YouTube videos of people racing in Germany, and it does look amazing. It is super intense. So the one thing I was watching, Jasper, oh, I can't remember his last name, but anyway, I was watching another YouTube channel, and he does these pro level races, but they're just packed into these little roads. So is it, in Germany, is it mostly road racing? Does the concept of the American crit translate to Germany, or is that not the same style of racing?
We have similar style crits.
Okay.
Our crits are more of your track point races. So in a crit in Germany, you are going every 5 or every 10 laps, you are going to win points to have enough points in the end to win the race. So it can mean that in the end, if you're not first on the line, you're still winning the race. So that's what you do on the track. These are our crits, which are short course, like less than a mile, most of the times even like a 3/4 mile, very fast racing, and we are not racing 90 minutes, we are racing a number of laps. So there are a lot of races where you show up and you have like 90 rounds to go, 90 laps. 90 laps full speed, and every 10 laps you are sprinting to get points to win the race.
Oh, I mean, we have preems, but the points system is kind of unique. I feel like, anyway, it reminds me of a race that used to exist in Wisconsin called Super Week, and that was lap based. I never got to race Super Week, but that's what I understand. It was lap based, not time based. So in the I'm always curious about this because I always think it's interesting. Like if you go run a 5K, nobody's giving you $20 for winning a 5K, right? Or $50 or $100. Do they pay in Germany if you win amateur races, or is that kind of unique to this area? Or?
Yeah, you have payouts for the top 10, top 15, similar to here in America. I need to say most of the races here in America are having a better payout, but you also have a more expensive buy-in.
Oh, gotcha.
So when you know the euro came and we were like we needed to pay in euros, it was like 10 euros or 8 euros. Now it's pretty much 15 euros. Okay. So the price goes up to it's pretty much showing that races get more expensive as well. They need to have a lot of security and safety.
Yeah.
Insurance and all that. So that's unfortunate. The city wants to have a share, so that's the same here in America. Come out to the race and support us, and just showing up and show that you are interested in seeing racing in your city.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So when you raced in Germany, were the team dynamics is it important or less important or more important than what you identify here in the, I should say in the higher categories? Certainly in the Cat 5s in the United States, teams are not really doing much, but as you get higher up the ladder, teams start to become a little bit more important.
Yeah, it's important. It's helping you. It doesn't matter what it is, to show up and know that there are like a couple of friends, strong riders where you can rely on a lead out, on like if you're in the front group, that they are like controlling the pace. That's something you definitely look forward to. And I always raced with a couple teams and with like groups of 4 to 6, sometimes 8 riders, and it was fun.
That's awesome. So I'm going to ask you, this is kind of a hard question, I think. I don't know, maybe not. So regardless of anything else, just racing, only time on a bike, racing a bike, would you rather race in Germany or the United States?
This is definitely a tough question, but I want to say there for sure races in Germany I really like, and I flew sometimes just over to compete in one race, and I did this when I was working in Italy for Bianchi, and even the past years where I had to go back and forth. My wife asked me, why are you leaving all the time on a Friday? And I couldn't say, like, because there's a race on Saturday and Sunday where I want to be. But it worked out that I was racing in a race which I definitely didn't want to miss.
Right. Worked to do the trip.
Yeah. Here in America, I'm focusing on Tour of America's Dairyland and of all the WCA races. So I'm not shy to come out and drive 2 hours to a race, because if I'm saying I'm not racing, then other people won't race, and this means that this race is not on the calendar, and that's why I try to go to every race I'm able to.
Well, I appreciate that, because we're if you're watching from afar, Appleton is about an hour and a half away from Milwaukee, and most of the cycle racing in Wisconsin is in Milwaukee, so an hour and a half away. And when we put on races, it can be difficult to get people from Milwaukee and Madison to make that trip up to race at our event. So we put a lot of extra time and effort and payouts, and we bring in announcers and music and food and beer and all kinds of things to try to get people up. And it's been tough to pull people up. So I appreciate that sentiment, that it's worth doing the extra effort to support these outlying races. So that's Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. As someone who is part of running an outlying race, I appreciate that. Again, I wanted to reiterate the reason I'm doing this is because I want to have no excuses. I want to be able to jump down on the bike if the weather's rotten, the kids are going crazy, I got to do parenting, or the kids are here and I still want to get a ride in. Removing excuses is what my mantra is for indoor cycling, especially when it's nice outside. Anything I can do to make it easier for me to come down here and pound out a quick 45-minute session or an hour session is what I want to do. And the concept of traveling with this rig, Zwifting in your hotel room, I see this all the time posted on Zwift riders on Facebook, people traveling all over doing this, and I love that. And this is a great way to really tackle that without having to bring extra drama into your life. Have your laptop right there, and like we were just talking, you can actually get some work done on a laptop because it's all
I said in the beginning, if you have some office time which doesn't allow you to go on the trainer, then why not have a Padbone and do your office work while you are on the trainer? And as soon as you do it the first time, replying the first emails of the day, doing just, easy stuff, why not doing it and get your training in? Yeah. Because then you're relaxing about everything else what comes to you that day.
It's like cheating, 2 for 1.
It is, we could say like big cheating.
Yeah, right. There you go. All right, well, thank you, Patrick. It was a pleasure having you over, and thanks for jumping on the show. I appreciate it. And again, I'll have links in the description. If you guys have any questions about once I get set up and rolling on this for a few months, feel free to hit me back up in the comments later. But like I said, I'll do a session on this, and I'll put that together at the end of the video so you can watch that. And then that's it. Thanks for checking it out. Brian Davis Races, and you can too. Our goal on this channel is to grow our sport, grow our knowledge, and grow our fitness. Hopefully I delivered that to you today. If so, please subscribe, share, or leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts.